Hi, everybody. This is your announcement for Philosophy 101G, Introduction to the Art of Wondering. Today is September 16th. We are entering week 5 of our semester. So time is going by fast. So if we could say, what is time? Time is something that moves quickly. Did I say that last week? Anyway, sorry if I did. Okay, so I hope you had a good weekend. I had a really nice weekend. I went down to Las Cruces last night and watched an Aggie game, a football game. I haven't been to a college football game in many years, so it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, the Aggies lost, but I think they fought a noble fight and played fairly well. As also, I think they were right there in it. It was by no means. A shellacking, so to speak. Their opponents were the San Diego State Aztecs, a very good team from California, and I think the Aggies held their own. All right, so go Aggies. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. The band is great because I like marching bands too. But if you ever have a chance to go down to Las Cruces to see a football game, go. It's a lot of fun. And hey, we're all Aggies. So even though we're here in Alamogordo, we're all part of the Aggie family. Okay, so back to our class. All right, so last week we were talking about virtue, okay, and I noticed a few of you wrote in the comments of last week's announcement your thoughts about the ending of the Meno and virtue. And I thought your comments were interesting. And so, just to clarify that ending, okay, so how it ends, and now I can talk about it because you've all read it, is that um, basically Socrates, they go through this whole, we spent how many weeks on this dialogue, and they go through this whole conversation between Socrates and Meno and the others about virtue and whether or not it can be taught, right? And so they conclude that virtue cannot be taught, okay, because they can't find any teachers of virtue, can't find any out there. They looked, they couldn't find any. Um, and then finally, Socrates, on the very last section, says, well, when it comes right down to it, virtue is something that's given by the gods. Okay, and so, no, ancient Greece, this is before Christianity. Okay, so they have very different ideas about religion than many are accustomed to now. Um, but so, in other words, it's not anything that any person can control. Either someone is given virtue by the gods or they're not. Okay, and it's that simple. But anyway, this is Socrates' conclusion. And then he kind of says, okay, well, you know what? I got to go. So you guys figure it out. So, and I know at least one of you said that the ending was a letdown. And I know when I first read it, I was actually kind of angry. I was like, what? I have been reading this book for hours and hours, days, and this is how it ends. After this whole conversation about what virtue is, going back and forth and this and that, it's something given by the gods. Anyway, I think it's just Plato and Socrates being very humorous and kind of just joking. Well, not joking, but like I said, I think they're just pulling our chain. Okay, that's what they're doing. All right, so anyway, we move on. And now we are starting Module 2.2, which is still part of the question, what is knowledge? And we're going to look at knowledge from a different perspective. Okay, we're going to be reading Rene Descartes. We're going to be jumping ahead like 1,000 years, okay, from Meno and Plato, but it's what we have to do. Anyway, we're going to take 2 weeks with this module. Okay, so for this week, you have a quiz. Okay, so that's all that's due this week. But I would suggest that you get busy on the rest of the module. If you look at the learning activities and assessments page, you will see all that you need to complete the module. Be sure to watch my video lecture, okay, and then read the meditation. So what we're reading is by Rene Descartes, and it's called Meditations on First Philosophy. We are going to read Meditation 1 and part of Meditation 2. Okay, there are, I think, 6 total meditations, but we're not going to read all of it. Okay, so So Descartes is going to go through, and you'll see this in my video. I probably shouldn't even say this because I already say this in the lecture. But he goes through what's called the thought experiment, and he says, "Okay, I want to find the one thing that's true. So in order to do that, I have to get rid of all the beliefs I had previous to that." Okay, so sounds kind of wacky, but it works. Okay, and he's not, going crazy or anything. This is just how he goes through this process of thinking about knowledge and how do we know something? How do we know something? All right. So, like I said, 2 weeks for this. And what you're going to do once you do the reading is you're going to create a visual interpretation of a piece of the text that I've given you. And I'll talk more about this next week in next week's announcement. But that's what you're going to do. And most people use PowerPoint, but you can also use you can make something like hand draw, but a nice hand drawing. Okay, if you're just going to do stick figures, do a PowerPoint. Okay, so unless these are very artistic stick figures, but you have those options that you can do. I just have to be able to see it. I have to be able to read everything. Okay, so that's all in the instructions. Make sure you read them carefully. There are 3 pages of instructions. All right, so and what you're going to do is you're going to create your visual interpretation, and I've assigned to you which part of the text, which part of the reading you're going to illustrate in the instructions. Okay, so you'll see that. But you're going to upload that to a discussion. Okay, so you'll be essentially sharing what you create with the rest of the class. So it won't be just for me, it will be for the whole class to see. And then there are some discussion questions that you'll need to answer along with your visual illustration. All right, so that's what we're going to be doing for the next 2 weeks. Okay, if you read the instructions and you have questions, please let me know. For this week, it's important to do all the work in terms of watching my video and reading the text that I have assigned to you. Okay, and you will see that on that page, the Learning Activities and Assessments page. Okay, I better end this video because we're at 7 minutes. And I guess that's it. Oh, I forgot. A little challenge. Okay, so instead of just telling me you watched the video, um, on the comments to this announcement, tell me what was the score to the football game between NMSU and San Diego State. Okay, so if you do that, I'll give you 1 extra point. Okay, on I know it doesn't sound much, but every little bit helps. But I will give you 1 extra point, and it's just so that I can see who's out there watching this video. I worry that not many people are watching this. Okay, so do that. I'm going to set it so that you won't be able to see what other people say until you post your response. All right, so that's what we're doing for this week, and I wish you all a good week and enjoy the cooler weather we're getting. All right, bye. I'll see you next time.